Hi guys and welcome to IAMABIKER.com. This is the new NTORQ Race XP edition and let's check out what it's all about. So now, being the Race XP version, the first thing that you notice is this really striking looking color option. Now this red, it actually really stands out, and even while we are taking videos and photographs and while on road riding itself, it generates a lot of eyeballs. And of course the red alloy wheels also add to the whole sporty stance of this Race XP version. So apart from the visual changes of the Race XP version, there are key changes to the internals of the scooter as well. First of all, the weight of the scooter has come down by 2 kgs. So now earlier it was 118 kgs. The Race XP edition, the Race XP version basically reduces the weight by almost 2 kilos. That now the curb weight is at 116 kgs. And one very important and interesting thing for me is also that the power has also gone up. So this is now the only scooter in the 125cc segment that produces more than 10 PS of power. So this produces 10.2 PS of power. And now, being the Race XP version of the NTORQ, it also gets voice commands and voice activation, and you can also change the riding modes, and you have a lot of voice features that are enabled on this scooter. So before we get into details of the voice features and what's the other things that are new on this scooter, let's look at the basics. The scooter definitely at the end of the day has to be comfortable and fun to ride, right? So let's talk about the engine now. So the engine power is now increased by 1 PS. So it actually, you can actually feel the difference over the previous NTORQ or the different versions of NTORQ that are there right now. So the extra almost 1 PS of power gives you a slightly more higher top end. TVS claim it does 98, but with my size and weight it does close to 95, 96. We tried it out on the highway. The beautiful thing is that the scooter feels super refined and super stable at those speeds. The scooter does not feel stressed. It does not bounce around like those other scooters in the segment, even at those speeds. So when it does a 95, you're not holding on for dear life. You're just doing 95 and you're just moving along. And of course, it still sounds great. There is no change in that. And the fact that the weight has come down by 2 kgs also means that it handles a lot better. I mean, I wouldn't say there's a stark difference between the previous NTORQ or the other versions of the NTORQ and this, but you can feel that there is a slightly lighter feel to it, and it is a bit more comfortable, riding it around in city, doing all those, getting in through all those tight spots. Even at slower speeds, it feels a bit more easier to control the scooter. So we have been riding the scooter mostly in the city, and while we came to these locations for the shoot, we have taken it on the highway as well. So combined, we have done about 200 kilometers on it, and in the past few days, and the mileage seems to be around the 40 mark. And we have mostly been riding it in the race mode. So if you put it into street mode, you get slightly more mileage, probably around 42, 45. And there is a slight difference between the race mode and the street mode. So in race mode, you get instant throttle action, and the bike has a slightly higher top speed as well. In street mode, you can feel that the throttle is slightly slowed down, in the sense that it doesn't feel that instant, but the difference is not that huge. But in that small difference, TVS say that they have achieved a difference in mileage as well. So it is effective, these two modes. So apart from that, this is the same NTORQ. It still handles beautifully. It feels planted. It is good fun to ride around. You can actually ride it around like a motorcycle. You can take fast corners. It feels stable. It feels planted. It gives you confidence to push, and then it sounds great as well. And it is one of the best scooters out there right now. So for those of who are confused, basically right now there are 4 variants of the NTORQ. One is the base variant of the NTORQ, which gets the halogen lights. Then there is the slightly one-up version of it, which gets the LED lights, the disc brakes. But the base version also gets disc brake as an option. The version slight up is there, and then you have the Super Squad edition, which basically is the same second version with the Marvel theme, and then you have the Race XP version with slightly more power and slightly less weight. So now, apart from the slight power increase and the slight weight reduction, what is really new on the NTORQ Race XP version is that it has got connectivity now with voice commands. Now, for these voice commands to work, the scooter needs to be connected to your phone, and you can actually give the voice commands to from your phone itself. But for it to work efficiently, you need to have a Bluetooth headset as well. So once you're connected to the TVS NTORQ Connect app, and you're connected with the headphones as well, while riding, you can just long press the starter button itself, and it goes into listening mode. And then you can give your voice commands. Now, voice commands, there are a set of commands. There are multiple commands, in fact, obviously, and you can control anything from let's start with, you can control with the modes. While you're riding, you want to switch from street mode to race mode for the slightly more responsive feel, and so you just say switch to street mode or switch to race mode, and it listens to you and it automatically switches the mode. At the same time, you can also again press the activation button or long press the starter button, and you can say navigate me to the nearest restaurant or nearest fuel bunk, or even you can set your home address and you can say that navigate me home. And then apart from that, you can enable do not disturb mode. You can change the brightness of the screen. You can increase and decrease volume, especially if you're listening to music and things like that. And of course, you also have missed call. You can see how many missed calls that you have. So just like the previous versions of the NTORQ, it shows the navigation and basically the arrow marks and basic navigation directions on the screen over here. And of course, it shows your mobile phone's battery remaining and battery levels, and also the range available on the phone as well. TVS has also updated the Connect app, so that is also much more intuitive now, and it's got a much more better sporty looking interface as well. And of course, it does show you record all the details of your trip. For example, even the route you have taken, in case you want to share it with somebody, and you have a record of it. And you can also get details like your top speed and current engine RPM levels, and basically distance traveled, and a whole lot of other data that can be achieved from the ride you just did. So that is it about the TVS NTORQ Race XP edition. Basically, it's a lighter and a faster version of the NTORQ, and it's got connectivity features as well. Probably the one thing I wish was different or changed in this Race XP version is that while the whole scooter has got LED lights everywhere, the indicators are still bulbs. So I wish, at least in the Race XP version, they had made it a bit more sleeker and added LED strips, which would have made it look even more funky and much more to the sportier stance, the sportier name, the Race XP name, right? But apart from that, the NTORQ remains one of the best scooters out there in the 125cc segment. Sounds good, fun to ride, now slightly faster and lighter as well, and you can talk to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.